Hey everyone, it's Darren Kaplan again, and you're watching Can Your Banker Do This? I have another special guest today, Arthur Ettinger. He does a few things here, but today we're going to talk about matrimonial law. Arthur, say hi.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Definitely. And remember, you guys can always reach me at 844-772-LOAN. Please subscribe to my podcast. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mr. Mortgage Guru. Arthur, tell everybody how they can reach you.
So you can reach me at Green Spoon Martyrs, direct dial 212-524-5002. You can certainly reach me on my cell, 917-696-1740. And my email address is arthur.ettinger@gmlaw.com. And for my baseball stuff, info@sandlotsportsgroup.com. Thanks.
Yeah, we're going to get into a little bit of all that. But we're all sitting at home here. If you're married, you're sitting with your spouse all day. And, we want to talk a little bit about, what's been going on here in the world. And, Arthur's a big post on LinkedIn. He does some of the social media, but he's always talking about divorce and separation. That's his topic right now. And he's going to talk a little bit about how it opened up in the courts, what we could look for, what people are doing, how to be proactive during the COVID-19. And Arthur, I'll kind of let you have the floor on this. You're the professional, you're the expert. Let everybody know what's going on. Talk about a little bit about the spike that we've seen, right? And then now how people can actually go forward with, doing and implementing the things that they wanted to get done that they couldn't. Like you said, they're sitting with their enemy at home now.
Well, I want to take a step back, and I want to just talk about there was a myth that you couldn't do anything for the last 2.5 months. I think people, to the contrary, there was a lot of things you can do. The actual divorce, getting the judgment and divorce, that's at the very end of the process. Okay. And when I talk to a potential client and a new client that comes to me, I always say, gather up your information. Now may not be the right time for you to pull the trigger, so to speak. Okay, just because on Monday you can start filing, okay, doesn't change the fact that we still have a shelter in place. So yeah, you can start a divorce action, but you're not going anywhere. It's not like you're going to work and you're coming home. Everyone's still under the same roof. So for all these last weeks, what people should have been doing, since they're not going to the office, a lot of divorce is gathering your financial information, gathering information, dealing with your custody and the child-related issues. You're home. You're able
You mean
to
together, civilly, the two of you doing that? Or is this something that you should have like a mediator like yourself involved?
Great question. Ideally, if two people can work it out at the kitchen table, like if they don't have children, most of the time there are major trust issues. Listen, it takes two to tango in a relationship, but only one to pull the trigger. So no, you still should be consulting with a lawyer and an advisor of some sort, an accountant, someone who
and even
does.
look, you can bring your attorney like yourself in on the meeting while you're at the dining room table to kind of help out.
Yeah,
with
but I'm not even saying that. Let's say you haven't even told your spouse that you want to, end the relationship. You still could be gathering your financials, because you're gonna have to disclose that. You're gonna have to exchange documents when you do decide. And now that you're home, so many times everybody in a divorce, whether you have $5 to your name or $50 million to your name, in a divorce action, you have to fill out what we call here in New York a net worth statement. In New Jersey, they call it a case information statement. It's a snapshot of your life, your biographical information, your assets, your liabilities, and your expenses. And that the courts and the lawyers use that as a guidepost to fashion support awards and how to divide the assets. And it's tedious and it sucks and it takes time. And the time it takes, you're at home. You're not going to work. You're not taking a commute. Clients say to me all the time, oh, I got to be at work all day. Then I got to go home, deal with the kids. I can't fill out the documents. Now is a perfect time while you're home to gather up the information. Call your banks, call the credit cards, call your wealth managers, call your accountants, gather up your tax returns, and then you can start putting together and figuring out what the universe is. What are we dividing?
Mhm.
You
Because
know,
it takes
plus
time still from there, right? So like you're saying, even if you said, hey, I want
100%.
to get divorced today, it's not like you're going to really get divorced today. You still have this whole chain of command down the road to figure out. But if you're just prepared, I use prepped and ready, man. That's my thing. I get my homeowners prepped
Exactly.
and ready. You know, now you're about to get your clients prepped and ready, and Arthur's telling you how to become prepped and ready for your divorce and separation. It's clear.
That's right. And listen, there are certain scenarios where you got to run into court. If there's domestic violence, there's
Right.
some sort of abuse going on. If someone has already moved out of the home and they're refusing to let you see the child, you know, that's worthy of running into court. If someone's not paying expenses that they, you know, the status quo is not being met and child support needs to be paid for, because for months now, you haven't been able to go in and file for child support or spousal
Mm,
support,
gotcha.
or the people who wanted to file for downward modifications because their income was affected with COVID, and now they'll be able to go in to file those modification proceedings.
That's awesome. I mean, the fact that it's actually like starting to open up, and you know, it's I don't want to say business as usual, you know, because it's a little different than that, you know, but it's a little bit more than the essential, you know. And I know that there's people out there that they don't know where to go. You know, they're having a hard time getting the information and the knowledge because you know the internet tells you to do things, but you can't always. It's so broad on what you got to do. You know, same thing with mortgages. What do you got to do? You got to submit your W-2s, your pay stubs, your tax returns, but you really may not. I may not always need tax returns, you know, so like
Right.
every scenario is different. And the best thing is to get the best advice.
And listen, you know, in a lot of respects, people can do things on their own and navigate. But most of the time, especially in the matrimonial world, where trust is a huge thing,
Yeah.
and it's usually breached, and that's why they're calling a matrimonial lawyer. At the very least, consult with someone who does this for a living.
And you're the one that does it. So again, Arthur, tell everybody how they can reach you. I think it's really important that, you know, if you're unsure or you want to know and you are sure, reach out to Arthur.
Yeah, sure. I'm at Greenspoon Martyr, Arthur.Ettinger at Greenspoon at gmlaw.com. Again, Arthur.Ettinger at gmlaw.com or 212-524-5002.
Awesome. And a lot of people don't talk about this topic, you know, and it's definitely a sensitive scenario, I think, for everyone. And that's probably why people don't like to talk about it. But we are. It's a little untraditional. You know, we're a bank and we're a mortgage company, but Arthur, I know you, you know, so however, you know, I can get the word out there for those people that are having a little struggle with, you know, what to do or what to do next. Reach out. And listen,
And
man,
I
I
listen,
appreciate.
sorry, and
No, no.
it goes in almost every case, certainly that uh, I work with, there's a marital residence, and sometimes they rent, but more often they own. Um, and you have to do something with that marital residence. If you're
Right.
not selling it, one person's either going to, you know, you can buy the other person, one person can buy the other one out, or they'll wait until the youngest goes off to college. But sometimes one person is retaining the asset and they need to refi. And we call people like yourself
Exactly.
all the time, whether
Exactly.
if they need to do the buyout or we're just going to remove a name from the mortgage. They still have to do often a refi. The bank will require it
Mm-hmm.
depending on the financial circumstances. So it go one hand washes the other. We work
Absolutely.
together all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, that's why we want to have you on the show. We want to talk to you about it. We want to talk to anybody about any of their subjects. So it doesn't just have to be mortgage and finance related, you know, so reach out to me if you want to come on my show and talk about, you know, what you do specifically. You know, you guys could always reach me at 844-772-LOAN. You could find me at my website, mrmortgageguru.com. And remember, always subscribe to youtube.com/Mr. Mortgage Guru. Listen, Arthur, man, it's a pleasure having you on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks
Um,
for having me.
absolutely. Absolutely.